Hey, hi, hello, ladies. How's it going? How's it going? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. And today's video is strictly a Donald Trump hate video because I've been thinking, I did a little bit of reflecting. I was like, what is the whole purpose of my channel? Is it really a punk rock scene underground hardcore channel, or is it an enemies channel? And to me, I realized it's an enemies channel, and there are way more enemies out there than just inside the music business. So I thought I was gonna start with the biggest enemy of all time, because I hate Donald Trump more than I hate anybody else who's ever walked this earth at the same time as me. This guy might be the absolute worst of the worst. So today, I'm just gonna roast Donald J. Trump, the 47th and 49th, or what is it, 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, or whatever. This guy doesn't deserve to not be in my rogues gallery anymore. So we're gonna be moving Donald Trump into the enemies list because, of course, he is the enemy of all enemies. This guy sucks. So before we get into roasting him, I might as well tell you who I am. My name is Dan Frampton, all one word, the O's a zero, and I am the internet's most ruthless gatekeeper. And how can I be so ruthless if I'm not going out there and being ruthless equally to everyone in every part of this world? There are nooks and there are crannies all across this great internet that haven't been dug into yet. They haven't been ruthlessly gatekept. And I'm thinking I might as well step in and get my hands a little dirty, why not? Because if you're still rocking with Donald Trump over here, I gotta say, you might not be the brightest person in the entire world, okay? It seems like everybody is turning on Donald Trump right now, and I'm loving to see it. All of those right-wing grifters that got him elected, well, they're all dropping like flies. A couple of months ago, that Schultz character was like, oh, this is not what I voted for. I'm not into this, not whatsoever. And I'm thinking, oh my God, are there cracks in MAGA? Are all the little sycophants that got this little worm elected, are they all gonna fall? And it seems like, yeah, they are. Because now Donald Trump is calling them all out publicly. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, everybody really except for Tim Pool and that other character. What's his name? Oh yeah, Joe Rogan, the worst of the worst. So, you know, I'm probably going to be making a Joe Rogan video here in the next little bit, because that's another guy that deserves to be in my rogues gallery. I'll tell you that much for free. So basically what we're going to get into today is all like the latest dumb stuff that he's been doing. And not only dumb stuff, this cataclysmic, world-shaking, potentially world-changing, world-ending stuff that Donald Trump has just been up to. This guy is staying up to all hours of the night, just doom scrolling and doom posting, just generating the most pathetic fucking AI generated memes of all time, like a goddamn Trump Tower on the moon, and this thing over here. Donald Trump as Jesus Christ Almighty. But before he posted this, he went after the Pope. The Pope. The Pope. The guy who runs like the whole Catholicism or whatever, and everybody that's still holding out for Donald Trump, those are his people, and now he's going to portray himself as their Lord and Savior. This might be the final straw for Donald Trump. But I don't know how this image over here is the last straw for people. Let me remind you over the last couple months what this guy has been up to. I don't know. As of recording right now, there have been 47 strikes just on boats out there in the open water. You know what they used to do when they suspected that there were drugs on a boat? Well, they would arrest them. They would search the boat. You know what they're doing now? They're just killing everybody they're suspicious of right away. All this stuff is coming to us from the New York Times over here. Quote, the U.S. military has been attacking boats in the Caribbean Sea and Eastern Pacific Ocean that the Trump administration say are smuggling drugs, killing dozens of people. This is a drastic departure from past practice. The Coast Guard, with assistance from the Navy, has typically treated maritime drug smuggling in the Caribbean as a law enforcement problem, interdicting boats and arresting the people for prosecution if suspicion of illicit cargo turn out to be correct. Hey, that seems a lot like a concept that I'm familiar with. What's it called again? Oh yeah, right, due process. Anyway, the article continues. A broad range of legal specialists on the use of lethal force have said that the strikes are illegal extrajudicial killings because the military is permitted not to deliberately target civilians, even suspected criminals who do not pose imminent threat of violence. Obviously. Oh, that seems like common sense. The White House has said the killings are lawful. In a notice to Congress, the administration said that the White House has said the killings are lawful. In a notice to Congress, the administration said President Trump had determined that the United States is in a formal armed conflict with drug cartels and that crews of drug-running boats are combatants. Okay, yeah, alright. This guy's an enemy. Those aren't the only strikes he's orchestrating across the entire world. These are the ones from the Caribbean. Spin the globe around a little bit and let's focus on Iran over here a little bit. He's just peppering them, and according to this New York Times article, U.S. at fault in strike on school in Iran. An ongoing military investigation has determined that the United States is responsible for a deadly Tomahawk missile strike on an Iranian elementary school, according to U.S. officials and others familiar with the preliminary findings. Disgusting, bro. I know I'm not showing you guys anything you haven't seen in the news before, but I'm just saying these are the reasons within recent memory why Donald Trump has to be made an enemy here on the channel. All of these things by themselves would be enough to be an enemy of me, if not the entire world, you know? But this Epstein stuff is absolutely disgusting. I don't think any of this other stuff would be happening if it wasn't for the Epstein stuff. Donald Trump is just trying to fucking distract everybody from the Epstein files by killing schools full of children, by killing fishermen in the middle of the ocean, just so we don't talk about the Epstein files. And guess what? It worked for a little bit. Everybody was talking about this Iranian war instead of the Epstein files for a good couple weeks there in the news cycle. Then Donald Trump's wife, or whatever, I don't even know if they hang out anymore. But anyway, Melania Trump, she cams up at the White House. She does this press conference being like, I am not guilty of anything Epstein. I was not friends. I didn't meet Epstein. It's like, lady, nobody was even talking about Epstein. Everybody was distracted. But thank you so much for doing this out of the blue and reminding everybody that the Epstein stuff is disgusting enough to make him everybody's enemy on planet Earth. This guy is the most vile, greedy, evil person to ever be walking this place with any one of you or I. And this article that I pulled up is from 2019, and it goes back obviously way further than that. This stuff goes back to the 80s, to the 90s. I don't know if Jeffrey Epstein would have gotten into the business that he had if it weren't for Donald Trump and his pageantry business that he had back in the day. Disgusting shit, bro. Absolutely gross as fuck. And then another thing that Donald Trump did that concerned everybody on planet Earth is when he sent out this Truth Social post last Tuesday, and everybody was just on eggshells the entire time. I'm not even sure that I'm allowed to read this as a YouTuber on YouTube without getting taken off of YouTube. This guy threatened an entire nation, an entire civilization, said he was going to wipe it out and that it was never going to return again unless some Strait of Hormuz or whatever was going to be opened. And then moments after that, a couple days passed, and Donald Trump is threatening to blockade the Strait of Hormuz himself. What is going on with this man? Well, I'll tell you what's going on. He's staying up late at night, up until like 4:30 in the morning, just tweeting. I'm just going to call what he does on Truth Social tweeting because it's just way easier to say. So Donald Trump, 80 years old just about, is up until 4:30 in the morning just tweeting. If anybody was doing this, it should cause alarm. Flags and bells should be going off like crazy. This guy is not well, and he's running the United States of America and perpetrating all these things that I just said all across this timeline. But here he is, 80 years old, in the middle of the night, fighting with the Pope of Christianity. You know, the Pope. The last holdouts of Donald Trump's whole army over there are the Christians, and Donald Trump is out here now being like, the Pope is enemy number one. The Pope is weak on crime, he says. The Pope is weak on crime? What are you talking? Jesus, Donald Trump, you have completely fucking lost it, bro. And if Donald Trump saying the Pope was weak on crime wasn't evidence enough of this guy completely losing it, he posted himself depicted as Jesus. And if you're a Christian, depicting yourself as Jesus or being that of God is considered blasphemy. And the last holdouts of Donald Trump supporters are very much the Christian base. But God bless them, man. They're probably too dumb to even realize any of this is going on. And then the next day, Donald Trump was asked about it. And instead of saying something like, oh, a staffer posted it, like he did with that disgusting Barack Obama video that he put out a couple months ago, he said, yeah, I did post it. And I thought I was being depicted as a doctor. He had the audacity to say to everybody straight-faced that he thought he was a Red Cross worker making people better in this image over here. Ah yes, the Red Cross workers and their holy robes, Donald Trump. You're lying straight to their face, bro. Then Jack White made a post of his own. And instead of making this point myself, I'm just gonna read Jack White's call out of Donald Trump right here. Hey, evangelical Christians, remember that Antichrist you've been squawking about all these years? As how he'd present himself as Christ-like and bring about the end of days as a final war in the Middle East involving Jerusalem? Well, check your boy now. Listen, if the felonies, Epstein files, bombing of school children, Gestapo ICE agents attacking their own citizens, threatening to invade Greenland, Cuba, Venezuela, and Iran all didn't convince you that you fell for this deranged grifter, maybe this lil post will. How can any of you so-called Christians support him after this blasphemy? How can any Catholic support him after he attacked the character of the Pope multiple times? How did so many millions of people fall for this con man? He's already got the worst president in history of America on lock, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the honor of pronouncing Trump worst American of all time. P.S. After some backlash, looks like some Christians actually take their own religion seriously. Trump is now saying that this AI image depicts him as a doctor for the Red Cross. He lies, then he lies about the lie. Then he doubles down on that lie with another lie, and they just keep falling for it. Yeah, that they do, that they sure do. But everybody in media, at least, is turning their back on him for now. Everybody, like I said, except for Tim Pool and Joe Rogan. But seeing Alex Jones crash out has been so fucking funny. And Joe Rogan has called these MAGA people a little bit goofy, has kind of clowned on them, but hasn't completely disavowed Donald Trump and all this craziness yet. So you can definitely expect a Joe Rogan enemy video coming down the pipeline any day now. There's a lot of people behaving stupidly out there, and I would be so foolish to kneecap this channel's potential. Enemies are enemies, and they're everywhere, and they all deserve to be called out equally here on the channel. The Ruthless Gatekeeper is not just a cute little nickname, it's a responsibility. And if you're here for that responsibility, click like, press subscribe, throw me some hype points, watch another video, because this one is all done and dusted. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye, see you later, and have a good one.